1. The last patient. I arrived at the abandoned hospital, eager to document its eerie past. The operating rooms were filled with rusted equipment, and the air was thick with decay. As I wandered through the halls, I heard faint whispers and hurried footsteps. Entering one of the rooms, I found an old patient file with my name on it. The file detailed my visit to this very hospital, scheduled for today. A cold hand grabbed my shoulder, and a voice whispered, "We've been waiting for you." I turned to see a nurse in outdated uniform, her eyes hollow and soulless. 2. The unholy confession. Seeking solace, I entered the old church at dusk, hoping for a moment of peace. The pews were empty, and the candles flickered ominously. I approached the confessional booth and began to speak my sins. The priest on the other side listened intently, his deep voice murmuring prayers. As I confessed my darkest secret, the priest fell silent. Moments later, a sinister laugh echoed from the booth. "Your sins are forgiven," he said, "for I share them with you." I looked up to see my own reflection in the booth's mirror, but with a demonic grin. 3. Graveyard shift. Working as a night guard in the cemetery was supposed to be easy, just me and the dead. One night, I noticed a grave that looked freshly dug, the soil still moist. I approached it curious when I heard faint cries for help. I dug frantically, uncovering a coffin with a small window. Inside, a woman was screaming, her face pale and desperate. I tried to open the lid, but it wouldn't budge. Panicking, I looked around for tools, and when I glanced back, the coffin was gone. In its place, my own grave was dug, ready for its occupant. 4. The circus of shadows. I always loved the circus, but this one was different. The performers were strange, their acts unsettling. The ringleader invited me backstage, where the true horrors lay. I saw cages with people inside, their faces twisted in pain. "Join us," the ringleader offered with a wicked grin. I tried to escape, but the tent walls closed in, trapping me. The last thing I saw before the darkness consumed me was my own reflection in a funhouse mirror, my face distorted and grotesque, as the ringleader's voice echoed, "Welcome to the show." 5. Campfire tales. Camping with friends was supposed to be fun, but the forest was eerily silent. We told ghost stories around the fire, each one scarier than the last. My friend began to tell a tale of a creature that mimics human voices to lure its prey. As he spoke, we heard someone calling for help from the woods. We followed the voice, only to find a blood-stained campsite. Realizing the danger, we ran back, but our campsite was gone. In its place, a clearing with our names carved into the trees, and the creature's voice mimicking our screams for help. 6. Dance of the Dead. The nightclub was packed, the music thumping. I felt a tap on my shoulder and turned to see a beautiful woman asking me to dance. We moved to the music, her touch cold as ice. As the night went on, I noticed her eyes growing darker, her grip tightening. She whispered strange words into my ear, and the world around us began to blur. The music slowed, and I felt a chill run down my spine. The people around us faded, replaced by shadowy figures. As I looked into her eyes, I realized with horror that I was dancing with a corpse, her face decayed and hollow. Before I could pull away, she leaned in and said, "Welcome to the dance of the dead." And the floor beneath us opened, pulling me into the darkness below. 7. The haunted library. I loved old books, so when I discovered an ancient library in the middle of nowhere, I couldn't resist exploring. The air was thick with dust, and the shelves groaned under the weight of countless volumes. I pulled out a book that seemed to call to me. As I read, the words began to change, describing events happening in real time around me. The library doors slammed shut, and I felt a presence watching me. The book ended with a description of my own death, right there in that library. A cold hand grasped my shoulder, and I knew it was my time. 8. The Lost Hiker. Hiking alone was my escape, but this trail was different. The deeper I went, the more disoriented I became. I found an old cabin and decided to rest. Inside, the walls were covered in strange symbols, and the air felt heavy. I heard footsteps outside and peeked through the window to see a figure approaching. Desperate for help, I opened the door, but the figure was gone. Instead, I found a note with my name on it, warning me to leave. The door slammed shut, and when I turned around, the cabin was empty, except for my own reflection in the window, eyes wide with terror. 9. The Abandoned School. Exploring abandoned buildings was a hobby of mine. This old school had a reputation for being haunted, and I couldn't resist. The halls were silent, the lockers covered in rust. I found a classroom with desks still arranged in rows. As I walked in, the door closed behind me, and the sound of children laughing echoed through the room. I turned to leave, but the door wouldn't budge. The laughter grew louder, more sinister. I looked at the blackboard and saw my name written in chalk. The desks started to move, trapping me in the center of the room. A voice whispered in my ear, "Class is in session," and I felt icy fingers wrap around my neck. 10. The Final Performance. As an actor, performing in an old theater was a dream come true. But this theater had a dark past, and I could feel the weight of its history. During rehearsals, strange things happened. Props moved on their own, and ghostly whispers filled the air. On opening night, I took my place on stage, feeling a presence behind me. The audience was silent, their faces pale and expressionless. As the final scene approached, I felt a sharp pain in my chest. I looked down to see blood spreading across my costume. The audience erupted in applause, and I realized they were all ghosts, cheering for my last performance as I fell to the floor, lifeless. Thank you for watching, especially to the subscribers, for supporting our stories. What story do you like the most? For more short stories under 10 minutes, click on the video on your screen, or if you want longer stories based on real-life events or fictionals, click on the playlist appearing on your screen now. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more thrilling tales. See you in the next video.